Why is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Did you see this Warren Beatty thing yet? I have not watched it.
No, I haven't. I didn't even know about it.
So apparently, he is required. He personally owns the rights to the Dick Tracy characters.
I knew that.
And so to retain the rights, he needs to use the character in some form
Okay.
every X number of years.
Okay.
And so I think it was like 10 years ago or something, he appeared on I believe it was a TMC short thing where Leonard Maltin interviewed him in character.
Of course.
And they released this, and oh, hey, he's still doing the Dick. So last week, they released a new version. It's called Tracy Zooms In.
Oh, dear.
It is Ben Mankiewicz
Okay.
and Dick Tracy going
Okay.
through the old interview that Dick Tracy did 10 years ago. And he basically goes through as Dick Tracy and corrects everything he says wrong in the first interview, goes through the whole film and says what he likes and doesn't like about it. Somehow
Oh.
Warren Beatty shows up, Leonard Maltin's brought back in. It's supposed to
Wow.
be the most insane, surreal, strange half hour of television in
Well, we
quite some
need-
time.
So I feel like we should be watching this and then discussing this.
We should be, or we just should be emailing Dick Tracy and asking him to come on our show.
We
and
should
talk
have Dick
about
Tracy on our show.
his life of crime.
Mm-hmm.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
I know you're into health.
Yes, I actually am.
So
I was ready to make a quippy comment, but I actually kind of am. What do you know?
I'm into eating lunch over the sink, usually
Well-
cold, not heated up.
Oh, God, no. Mm-mm.
So a research team at Arizona State University, which I feel like could be some sort of a joke inserted there,
Okay.
took the Monty Python's silly walks
Mm-hmm.
and found that a silly walking exercise could improve your health.
Oh,
It requires 2.5 times as much energy as a normal walk.
mm-hmm.
And so if you do a silly walk, I believe they recommend the one that John Cleese does
Of course.
with the high steps. So if you do that around your neighborhood, you could be done in, I guess, what was that? Like a 15-minute walk would be 45 minutes of normal time,
Yeah.
at least.
seems
if not
right,
more. Yeah.
right?
So, and I went to art school. So it's something you might want to think about
I think
taking
this
on.
is I would do that.
So
Well, there should be like groups that do it,
that would be amazing.
right? Just
If there were
hike-
groups, they'd be on this show.
Well, they would be on this show. So that's a reason they should form one so they can be
That's
on this
true.
show.
Yeah. it's
That's
very,
an
very true.
honorarium right there.
Oh my God. We would give them so much honorarium.
I know.
Am I using that in the right way? Probably
No, I don't
not.
think I am either, but
Yeah. How are you guys doing? I feel like COVID must have been harder for you guys just a little bit than any other performer.
Yes, COVID was not great for the spitting industry.
not really.
So yeah, but things things definitely took a pause during that period, but right now we're back and kicking, or back and spitting is probably a better way to say it. And as things have cooled down with COVID, we've been able to perform again, and things have been good.
Did you go back to those early days of yore, when you guys were just, I don't know, dribbling? Where does such an idea come from?
Yeah, so the original idea came from all the way back in high school. So we've been spinning that was about 12 years ago now. So we've been spinning for 12 years.
God, time flies.
Yeah, and it started for, we'll call it a high school talent show, our senior year. And we wanted to go out with a splash, literally. And so we came up with this act of spitting water to opera music. And we were growing up in Denver, Colorado. So we were performing, when we were practicing this, it was outside, like in the snow, and we're wearing ponchos. And, it's not the ideal weather to practice this in, but
No.
to create this act while we're spitting, and we perform it for this talent show, and gets a good, good applause and a good reception there, and we win it. And afterwards, people tell us hey, that was pretty cool. You guys should tape it a little bit nicer and like see what happens with it. Do you want me to? I can kind of give the full.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, no, this is
Definitely
fascinating.
tell us. Yes.
Okay.
You're the first
So-
spitter we've had on the show, believe it or
Sounds
not.
good. You're gonna have me talking for a couple minutes, but I'll just give you the
Perfect.
full. So we tape it a little bit nicer, and we put it online and maybe send it around a little bit at the time. We're all, seniors in high school for the most part at this point, and gets a little buzz. I think at that time we got to perform for like the local news station in Denver, which was very cool for us then. And that was about it. So Human Fountain, that was basically the end of Human Fountains for about 8 years. We all graduate, we go to college and, different places around the States. And just so happens, 8 years later, I've been living in LA for a while, and one of the other members happened to move to LA for his job, and then another member guy that was in this had moved to LA separately. So we were all in LA coincidentally, and we're hanging out a lot. We're like, oh, we should live together since we're always, there. So
How can that go wrong?
So yeah,
Right.
no, I mean, we were all close. So we
I mean, it doesn't
we
really.
moved in together, and one night we were all we had some friends over, and we were watching just old, funny YouTube videos, and somebody was just like, oh, we should watch that old video of us spitting. So we watch it and we get a laugh of it, and it's kind of in our mind for the first time in years, but don't think much of it. The next day, this time too, we're none of us have any performance backgrounds. We're all more business-like jobs, traditional jobs, and we were at our different jobs. And one of our members, Ben, he sends me a text during the day. He's a big Reddit guy, the social platform Reddit.
Mhm.
So I don't really understand Reddit at all, but he sends a text during the day saying, hey guys, posted our video on Reddit, see what happens. And don't think anything of it. A few hours later, get a text from him saying, hey, our video is doing really well on Reddit. I don't get Reddit, still nothing.
Right.
A few more hours go by. Hey guys, our video is #1 on Reddit. Still,
Whatever that is, great.
Cool, yeah.
So don't think much of it. Still, he comes home that night very excited. Me and the other member, Joel, we're not thinking much about it. And it's not until the next day we have, gets a ton of views overnight. And at that point, we start getting different emails and people reaching out, asking us, different questions. We're like, maybe we should just like make a social page about this, and just, just so there's a way to contact us more so. So we do that. And we start getting different calls from different TV stations asking if we'd be interested in being on their shows. One of which was America's Got Talent, to see if we'd be interested in coming to, audition there. And we all had known, we've heard the name America's Got Talent, but none of us watched the show. So we watch an episode or two, and we see sometimes they put on these, acts that are very stupid, if you will.
I was gonna say, you can say it. It's all
Yeah,
right.
very, very, very stupid, and that they get X'd out very fast. They're not really going to be competing in the long run. Like it's just to it's for the audience entertainment, you know, to get up there, get X real fast, and you know, get told how awful they are. And we're like, that's 100% why they're asking us to be on this. But we're like, we're okay with that. The fact that we
Right,
can be on
like,
TV
that's
at all,
fine.
we're
Right.
excited. So we're very excited to, you know, to just have any chance to be on TV at all. So we get to work and we have to kind of come up with a full new act, since they also don't realize, you know, the last time we've done this was 8 years ago. This is not something we do. So we have to come up with a full new act. You have to get like a song approved and everything. It's a whole process. So we come up with a whole new spitting routine, and we're in our driveway for about a month, blasting opera music, spitting water. Our neighbors walk by, they think we're crazy.
Are you guys
And
like running down the street shadow boxing and like swallowing whole eggs and spitting them back and punching meat? Is this this is what I'm envisioning?
so the eggs and things, that stuff doesn't come in till later. At this point, we were just using, you know, water. Yeah, it was a very, you know, our first act, very
Sure,
pure.
vanilla spitting.
very
I get you. Yeah.
vanilla. So no twists at this point so much. Besides, yeah, having, you know, at the end realizing, which wasn't the original act, like we need to, you know, final kind of punchline, which is where we spit water into each other's mouth and one person swallows at the end. Which, you know, the first time we were doing that, it was, you know, hard to keep a straight face.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you find it gross and things, but you know, after you've done it a couple hundred times, you just kind of become numb to this type of stuff and
Yeah.
what's, you know, gets a reaction and what's gross to the world. And these days you can imagine we have no true perception of what the average person finds gross and things. So we come up with this whole act, and we put a lot of time into this, and we have basically one goal going to America's Got Talent, and that is sometimes basically if an act gets 3 X's when they're up there, 3 of the 4, the music just turns off and they're kicked off the stage. They don't get to finish their act. So we're like, you know, we know this is just, you know, they're going to be Xing us and this isn't going anywhere, but just at least before they trash us, let us get to the end of the act. We put so much time in it. Don't kick us off the stage. That's our only hope. So finally, the day of the auditions, we go there. It's this big production. We've never really been on set at all before. And you've got amazing talent. You've got amazing dancers, amazing.
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, seriously.
Please. Yeah.
So you got all this amazing
slick
talent.
choreography.
I wish you could see you the way we see you.
Right.
But continue.
Oh, thank you. So you got all this amazing talent, and then you got us. And people would come up to us and be like, "Oh, what do you guys do?" And we'd be, we spit water, and people really didn't know what to make of us, but we wait all day, and it's our time to audition, and it's just this huge auditorium, like 2,000 people plus the, you know, judges of America's Got Talent, and none of us have any performance background. So we're terrified, you know, we've never been on the stage, let alone a huge stage like this. And at this point, we kind of pretending we're an opera group when we go out before, just to give it a little surprise for the first time. And yeah, we're all dressed in tuxes. We go out, and honestly, we're so nervous. This is kind of a little bit of a blur of what happens, but we start performing, we start spitting, and about 30 seconds in, we get a from Simon. He gives us the X. And you know, shakes us a little, but we're like, we got to keep going. You know, we knew we'd get X, just hopefully we don't get 2 more before the end. So we keep performing our act like we've done, you know, a million times. And we, you know, to our pleasant surprise, get to the end without 2 more X. So we got to finish, you know, our act. That's, you know, all we could hope for. What we didn't expect is once we finish the act, we get a standing ovation from the audience and all the judges except Simon, and the audience chanting like send them through. And the audience, basically, Simon gives us a no, but all 3 of the other judges give us a yes to send us through the next round. So they send us through the next round, And then Tyra Banks comes out. It's this big, moment where she comes out and they just start playing our song again. And we just, improvise an act with her. So we're all spitting, on stage with her. And, I see her take a sip at this point and no, I have huge opportunity here. So I run over her and point to my mouth and she spits water in my mouth. I'm yet to, I have not brushed my teeth since.
No, of course
And
not.
it's just this, big moment. None of us saw any of this going, like, so we're on cloud nine. We walk backstage and the producers are just like, that was hilarious and so fun. Like, we can't wait to see what you have next. Then it hits us. We have absolutely nothing.
Right.
Like, huh.
that was our only act. So we got to go back to the drawing board and we're back in our driveway, basically spitting water again and coming up with a whole new act. If our neighbors thought we were crazy before, now they've seen us doing this multiple months. They think we're nuts at this point. And we are basically coming up with a new act. And we know we can't just take a new song and, spit to that. So now
That's
we're like,
amateur
okay,
stuff.
we got to put a little storyline behind this. So we do a storyline and it's just a simple storyline of somebody waking up in the morning and going through their morning routine. And yeah, all these videos can be seen, on YouTube. But yeah, we add some things that are not water as well, some surprises. There's an egg in the act, there's orange juice, a couple, new surprises. And we tell this story and so we practice this, we get this, ready, and we go back in. And, if before you had amazing dancers and amazing singers, now you had really incredible dancers and really incredible singers, but it'd be like the singers are like 5 years old.
Right.
And then you've got us, still who are curious what we're doing there still. And
I just love the image of like 5-year-old singers pacing backstage, smoking, screaming at their parents.
Right.
And then you guys just waltz in and you're like, yeah, we're going to spit in each other's mouths. And this
That's
kid just
cool.
loses their mind.
Right. We're probably busy just looking where the food was at that
Right.
point.
Yeah. Craft
Priorities,
services
right.
should never be underrated.
Yeah.
And so we do, so we wait again and we finally go perform it. And for this performance, we underestimate how much we gross out the audience. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
But remarkably get through again. So
People like to be repulsed.
so yeah, I guess they liked it enough to send us through. It gets big reactions. That's one thing about our act overall is people either love it or hate it. It's likely you see an act and you have indifferent feelings. So
But don't you feel the people that hate it don't really hate it? Like they're grossed out by it, but they're like shutting their eyes, but like peeking through, still watching that.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your comedy's like. I think sometimes people think our skills are like, we think we are, the best water spitters in the world. And like, they don't realize this is a clown comedy act,
Well, and the other thing too, that's great about it is that I feel like I had the zone reaction watching it again this morning. It's amusing. It becomes kind of weird and disgusting. Goes back to like it's this whole emotional sine wave of this is insane. I love this. This is disgusting. I love this. This is like it keeps moving, which you wouldn't think for something so. It's so simple. It's brilliant, or it's that fine line between dumb and clever.
Well, thank you.
And you guys really walk that line like it's
And it is truly well choreographed. Like that's not that coordinated. You got to get everybody moving in the right spot, aiming in the right direction.
Well, thank you, because dance is definitely not our specialty. So
you could have fooled us.
But so we get through to the next round and the deja vu. We go backstage, producers say, like, that was great. We can't wait to see what you have next. And again, we have nothing next. So back to the drawing board again, come up with a whole new act, back and forth with them on what we're allowed to do. And we finally kind of come up with a compromise, and this is kind of going to be like a spectacle act. So in this one, we're, doing champagne, there's hot dogs, there's water, they have this huge stage for us that, is, this whole built out. And it's like a whole week shoot beforehand of like B-roll. And this is going to be a live performance at the Dolby Theater where they have the prestigious Academy Awards. And somehow we've been invited there to spit on the floor.
You and Dame Helen Mirren have
I
trod the
mean,
same boards. That's
yes.
brilliant.
So we basically, so we go to this live performance. They have a whole crew setting up the carpet and cleaning up after us, which is we get a kick out of.
Yeah.
Never did we think we'd be able to spit and then people would be cleaning it up after us. So I guess that's when you've made it.
I was just gonna say,
Yes.
yeah, is that when you
For
have your own
sure.
roadies, you
and we so we perform this act. As always, gets a big reaction, mixed reviews around. But that was as far as we made it on America's Got Talent. So we were obviously bummed. We were like, that was, as we were going on, we're like, I wonder if we could win this. But we obviously didn't. And we're like, that was fun while it lasted, that experience went way longer than any of us thought it was going to go. So yeah, that was cool. And we'll always remember that. So we're about to hang up our water bottles and stop spitting. But what we don't realize at the time is America's Got Talent is the largest syndicated show in the world, meaning that basically every country has their own Got Talent show. So after we were done there, for the next 2 years, we were getting calls from different talent shows around the world.
Azerbaijan Got Talent. That's amazing. Yeah.
France Got Talent, Germany's Got Talent, literally all calling us asking if we'd be on the show, and they'd basically fly us out, have us perform, hey, let us extend to travel. So for 2 years we're performing and traveling with my best friends around the world, doing our acts, and it's just a blast. And at this point we've kind of I had a remote job, but there's one guy was doing investment banking at the time, and literally quit that to do this full time.
I would love to read his resignation letter.
So it was it was we were all pretty committed to this and doing this and traveling, and it was having fun. But during all this, we had our 3 acts that we'd done on America's Got Talent. That was it. So after doing this for a while, we're thinking maybe we have something here. And we decide, let's try to expand this a little. So we lock ourselves in our house for a couple months, and we put together a full show. So it's about a 70-minute show of human fountains. It's a lot of water spitting. It's not all water spitting, but it's a lot of clowning. It's a lot of audience participation. It's got storylines. We consider ourselves clowns, by the way. A lot of people think clowns is like red-nosed juggling type of thing. Well, we, view clown as just this larger umbrella of, physical comedy, doing just very stupid things very seriously. So it's this large, very fun clown show, very slapsticky, it's no talking, it's nonverbal the entire time, a lot of beautiful music, a lot of spitting, and a lot of stupidity. And so, we create this full show, and we start performing it in Los Angeles a little bit. And mind you, we have no performance backgrounds, and definitely no idea how to create a show and put that on. So we're learning as we're going, doing this, and also trying to improve our acting and performing and clowning skills because we don't have any. So we're doing this as we go, and we're getting a little better and learning how to do the show and performing around town. And there's like a local, festival we kind of premiere it at. and we start performing it a bit, and it's slowly but surely starting to get a little buzz and things, and we're getting a little better. And had some cool opportunities through that to perform in some different places when people saw the show. And things are going on the right trajectory, and then COVID happens. And
Yes.
like I mentioned, COVID was not great for the spitting industry.
No.
So we're done. Yeah, there's no performing. Our show is probably the least COVID friendly show you could have asked for.
Yeah.
So
It's up
nothing's
there.
happening. So that point, we're like, okay, we can't perform here. What can we do? Luckily, we all live together, so we're in the same COVID bubble. And we're like, maybe we should try out this TikTok thing we keep hearing about. So we start getting on TikTok, and we start growing a following there, and honestly, decently fast. We're kind of like, our biggest mistake was not being on this sooner, but we start going very hard there, performing, and kind of realizing what's working on TikTok. Kind of takes a different angle. Some of the grosser stuff typically does better versus our longer performing type things. But we start really going hard there, and at a point we're making probably about, we're releasing at least 3 videos a day.
Wow.
For at least 9 months, and we grow this
Wow.
following. We get by putting a lot of work, but we grow it to over 1 million followers and things. And this is literally like, we're working on this a lot. It's like a part-time, a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Um,
some.
And we doing this for a while, and after we've reached over 1 million for a bit, we're a little burned out. One, we're all living together. It's just it's
No,
a
you
lot.
get up in the morning and you're like, if I see a glass of water, I'm just gonna lose my mind. I get it. Yeah.
So and it wasn't the same for us. You don't get a live audience. You don't get to hear the laughter, so it's a little bit different. And so we're a little burned out at this point. We're like, okay, we're just gonna take a break. Kind of don't know. Maybe this is the end of Human Fountains. And so we're taking a little break there. I travel a little bit, but things are done for that moment. So we wait till things cool off with COVID, and once they do, we decide, okay, let's maybe give this one more shot. Let's start trying to do our show again. And we start performing the show again, and we go start traveling with the show as well. We went to a festival, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is the biggest
Of course.
performing arts festival. And don't know, this is a monster of a festival, but like a very big performing art, and we've never been there, but we're like, okay, let's try this out and see how it goes there. So we basically do 30, like a show a night for a month. So it's like 30 shows in a row. I think we gave ourselves 1 day off in the middle. And we're out there, we're working remotely, then we're out there for hours street performing to try to sell tickets, and then it takes us an hour or two to set up everything, and then we do the show, and then an hour and two to clean it up. And this is just us doing everything. Crazy amount of work, but also a blast. We're having a lot of fun, improving a lot as well, as you're doing something every day for so long. And that was just such a cool experience to do that. And we're doing that for a while. We're done with that. And a little bit after that, we get a call from America's Got Talent again, letting us know they're making America's Got Talent All-Stars. This is basically from the top talents and some of the finalists and fan favorites, and somehow they are asking us to be on this. And we say, yeah, definitely. And we basically, at this point now, we have content, so we basically perform our America act. It's this,
Which I have very rarely do you see something so lovingly depicting a country and its icons. And it's an overused phrase, but it makes you proud to be an American.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're lucky we can spit freely in this country.
Yes.
Yes, this is true.
So we basically, so we perform this act, we have to tweak it a bit, so we're literally trying to tweak it a little bit outside where they're filming, like hours before it's going, just working, people probably thinking we never stop practicing. But yeah, we do this our America act on the show, which just aired pretty recently.
Yeah, a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, so that was fun to showcase something that we have now in the full show. And during that, yeah, we've always had a goal. It'd be cool to have a show in Vegas one day. I kind of have this dream
For
of
sure.
it being kind of like I think the closest I like to describe our show as the Bellagio Fountains meets Blue Man Group.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And so yeah, having this goal of one day being in Vegas. And before this even aired and things, we just so happened we get a call from basically Cirque du Soleil, who is producing a show, or they have a show in America called America's Got Talent Superstars in Las Vegas. And they have they have the show here, and they want us to be in the show. So seems like a very cool opportunity. And so we say yes. And a couple months ago, I moved to Las Vegas. And we've been performing in the show now. This is, some of the other guys couldn't make this one, so this is the first time we haven't been performing together, but I've trained some, amazing clowns here in Vegas. Cirque du Soleil put out a casting call for clowns, and I got videos of them spitting, and we had a full week of us training, teaching a bunch of grown men, taking spitting very seriously.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
And now, yeah, we're here, doing that act, and we'll be licensing it to their show. But I'm in Vegas currently,
Love it.
performing this act. We do it 8 times a week at least. And that's where we're at currently with Human Fountain.
That's amazing.
I just imagine like training other people to do this, just throwing your bottle across the room saying, damn it, I said spit.
So no, it's a very it's been a very funny process, because Cirque du Soleil has access to some amazing clowns that have been performing their whole life. So when we had our first day of performing, and I'm just hearing the backgrounds of all these people, I'm wondering, why am I in charge here? Like, I could be learning so much from all of these people. So it's been very fun in terms of everybody just brings their own, energy and stage presence to the act. Everybody could not be nicer. And it's a fun act, and yeah, we've been doing that nightly here, and it's been fantastic so far.
That's outstanding.
Do you ever reach a point where you're focusing on some aspect of the show and you're getting more and more frustrated, and then you kind of stop and go, what do we do? Wait, we're talking about spitting. Like, you must have these sort of like back to earth, like, oh my God, this is insane. We're not curing cancer, we're spitting water places.
Yeah. I mean, right now there's not, what we're doing, we have we've done so many times that we've got it down to science, but I think it's just a good reminder to make sure you have, a good sense of play in your life. I think a lot of times that people take things too seriously and forget, there's a lot of serious things going on in the world, and sometimes you need a little more stupidity and fun in the world. And
Great.
that's what the act, we're just trying to make people smile, have a good time. Yeah, that's the end goal. There's not, we're not doing rocket science. We're just trying to put smiles on people's faces.
more information on the Human Fountains, check out their website, humanfountains.com. They're also on Facebook, facebook.com/humanfountains.
Why the Podcast is produced by the Professional Production Company. Please be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts because we're shallow and need constant validation. For more information, you can check out our website, whythepodcast.com. And like everyone else, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Today's show was recorded and produced by Heidi Hedquist and myself from our world headquarters located on the second floor of the professional office building, centrally located downtown. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?